There's my lion roar. Not a bad one, actually. And there's no way I could actually get there's no way to actually, as a human being, do a legitimate lion roar impression, just because of the decibel they can get their roar at. Like that, those things are nuts. Beautiful. I love lions. Lions are beautiful creatures. But Beast, Idris Elba, family goes on safari. A rogue lion attacks them, and they got to survive the lion. It's a very simple story. He's a divorced father. Their mother died, and they're trying to reconnect. They go back to South Africa where his mother and him met, or their mother and her met. They meet their friend, Charlotte Copley, or his old friend, takes them on safari. There were poachers that killed the lion pride, and this one lion survived, and now he's taking out people. And there you go. And they get caught in the middle of that. It's the most bare-bones story you can get. But look, is it let me put it this way, and I've heard a lot of people kind of open with this, and I'll open this too. Is it a perfect film? God, no. Is it my favorite film of the year? No. Is it going to even be in my top 10? Nope. Is it an Oscar winner? Probably not. The visual effects are really damn good. But did I come out of this movie saying, that was a fun movie? I like that movie. I'd even go as far as say that's a pretty solid movie. Yes, I did. This is exactly what you're getting, and it works. This movie is surprisingly impressive in many ways. One, it's Idris Elba. Everyone's giving it their all for the acting. There is a scene in this movie that hit my girlfriend pretty hard because of the subject matter. But he talks about, Idris Elba's character is a doctor. So he talks about, he gets drugged with his friend, and he talks about, there's a scene where he's just talking about how he failed his daughters, how he failed his marriage and all that. And now he couldn't even protect his wife. And I'm like, damn, that's like really, this movie probably doesn't deserve the level of acting you're putting in here, Idris, and I love you for it. Idris Elba is really good in the movie. He plays we don't know what type of doctor he is, but we assume he's a trauma. My girlfriend pointed out he might be a trauma surgeon, given how he's kind of helping people out, especially his friend who gets mauled later. But he's playing both panicked, but a controlled panic, like a guy who can actually respond to pressure well, but still be terrified like he's in this situation. He's playing that fantastic. The girls playing his daughters, too, they're really good as well. I will admit the one playing the older one pissed me off at points because I'm like, shut up. Like, this is not... There's a scene where she starts ripping, and after the lion attacks one of them, and they're stuck in the car, she starts to go off on her dad about oh, your dad, you abandoned mom and all this, and her sister finally tells her to shut up because you keep talking to him. It's like, yeah, look, this is not the fucking time for this, okay? And she apologizes, and obviously she and her dad make amends. But yeah, Sharlto Copley, he's one of those actors, not gonna lie, who I like more when he's not playing a villain. He's a fun villain. Do not get me wrong. Sharlto Copley can be a fun villain. He plays a lot of villains, surprisingly. But Murdoch from A-Team, I own the A-Team. I love that movie. That's just a fun popcorn movie, man. I'll put that on that's one of those movies I will put on when I'm just need something in the background, and just while I'm doing work or something like that. It's I love this. It's just watching face come out of its eggs. What you got, bitches? What you got? I love that movie. I really do. But yeah, him playing Murdoch, him as the villain in Maleficent is fun too. I'll be honest, I'm actually one of the few people who's never seen District 9, but that's okay. I know he's been in a bunch about Elysium. I didn't see that one either, but I like them. I like him in this movie because he's a good guy and he's having fun, but he's also got a lot of heart, and where his story ultimately ends, you're well, it kind of makes sense. Somewhat. I'm I got to a point where it's I have seen just about every shot of you in the trailer at this point. I'm not going to say what happens, but you can kind of infer where this is going. Yeah. But more to the point, though, how is the actual, the lion part of the story? The lion versus them versus the lion. Dude, that lion all the lions are CGI in this movie. But if you weren't looking for it, it'd be difficult to spot. It's good CGI. There are scenes there's a couple scenes where it's a little less convincing, sure, But honestly, it's really good CGI. You believe that thing is there still. Like smog, for example, is another example of a being that is clearly an effect, but you believe it's there. This is another thing where it's like the lion is clearly an effect, but you believe it's there. And like the scenes with it, where it's hunting them, and it's trying to kill them, and the damage it gets off on people, and how it just wipes the floor, and the carnage it leaves in its wake. There's some gore in this movie. Oh my god. Like seriously, the lion stuff is tense. It's visceral. You're wondering like, okay, they are gonna make it out. There are points where you're like, they are gonna make it out of this, right? Because when you actually realize what the lion doesn't really have a story, but you realize what's made the lion act like this, you realize, adjust the script a little bit. Don't make the people the main characters and make the lion the main characters. Like, this could be the story of a rogue lion that lost its family, pride, and is now it's seeking revenge. I mean, that is the story, and you could make that the focal point. You could have inner monologues of this, maybe like the narrator being the monologue of the lion or something. Like, you could do that. And if it wasn't for the fact he was attacking innocent people, you'd honestly just be rooting for the lion in this. But unfortunately, he isn't. He is attacking innocent people, so you can't root for the lion too much. And it all comes to the climax, which, not too much of a shocker. You see a part of the climax in the trailer where Idris Elba and the lion are kind of squaring off. I will not say how that ends. I will say this. Idris Elba puts up a great fight. He still gets his shit kicked in by a lion. Because there's a line in the movie where Charlton goes, if you do that, it's you versus him one-on-one. And that's not a fight you are involved to handle. Like, yeah, you don't want to go toe-to-toe with a full-grown male lion that is pissed without anything. Like, Idris Elba has like a knife. That's it. But how that's resolved, if you are paying attention, because they say how it's going to get resolved, ultimately. They do say how it is. But if you're paying attention, but if you're not really focusing in on it, you won't pick it up. I didn't pick it up until about halfway through the movie when I'm looking at one of the characters, and something about what one of the characters said earlier clicked to me. I'm like, and I leaned over and I was like, I know how this movie's going to end. And sure enough, when we got to the point, I'm like, yep, knew how it was going to end. And you know what? It's still a cool scene. It's still cool. Because that is weirdly what a bet. It's not like a perfect script, although there's definitely moments in the script, but it's not a terrible script either. One of the things that I will say about it is that there is exposition that is what I call a Chekhov's gun. Kind of. But there's exposition in this movie that isn't like just exposition for the sake of exposition. There's a scene near the beginning of the film where Idris Elba and his daughter, Meow, who's the oldest one, who it really is estranged from, is really struggling with him, like angry. Him and Meow have an argument at their table. But they illustrate that he'd kind of already been drinking prior to that. So the fact that he's already estranged from him, the fact that he's already had some alcohol in him, means that he was nowhere near as cognizant of what he was saying at the time. So he didn't know how to put the stopper on. That he didn't know how to filter that. So it actually made sense how he could have that moment of just argumentativeness with his daughter. And then that leads into the thing where he's just drunk and just talking to his friend about how he failed. And then there's more dialogue later on where it's like, if you're not really thinking on it, you won't pick it up. Or you're like, there you go. Okay. But if you think on it and you see how the movie progresses, you're like, that's how it is. Ultimately, obviously, I won't say how the movie ends, but it ends in a way that you want it to end, ultimately. Long story short, though, while it's not going to make probably any list, mostly just because there's a lot of movies coming out this year, while it's not going to make any list, it's a solid movie. And for August, which is a kind of a dead month in many regards, that says a lot. So I would definitely, if you're looking for a new movie to go see, if you're looking for something with something new, something with tension, something with thrill, something with intensity, I'd go with Beast. Check out Beast. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. I still got 2 what-ifs, and they'll be caught up. Jesus.